right, cool. So I'm going live. Never done that before. I figured I'd try it out with a topic that's sort of on brand, sort of off brand for foodology. So usually we're talking about kids or at least humans and food, but I wanted to talk for a little bit about our dog. So our dog, I started this journey, before I had a child, I had a dog. And when I tell you I've always wanted a dog my entire life, like literally my whole life, I begged for a dog and I was denied, request denied every single time for years and years. And I was always told when you get your own house, you can have a dog, right? So I literally bought a house and 2 weeks later, we had a dog, right? So I did like everything that I could possibly do to have like the healthiest dog, the happiest dog. Like I wanted to, like she was my like baby, right? Before I had a baby. So I was getting her, well, when we brought her home from the kennel, um, they gave us some food and they said, it was important to feed her the same thing because she's transitioning to a new house and she ate everything fine. And then I was like, I'm gonna get like better quality dog food. So that's when I don't even remember the brand. I'm gonna be honest. I got other dog food that I thought was better quality. And, then I don't know, I'm a researcher, so I was researching and there was something about, like, a vegan dog that lived to be, like, 27 or something like that. Like, the oldest living dog known to man or something died at, like, 27. And I was, like, floored by that. Well, 1, because I didn't even know dogs could be vegan, and 2, I was like, "Oh my god, of course I want my dog to live to 27 years, like, she's gonna live even longer. She's gonna be, like, the oldest dog in the world," right? So that was, like, my goal setting out. So I found a vegan dog food brand, and, I started giving it to her, and she was eating it fine, and, there was a point where she would throw up every once in a while, and, like, totally unexplainably. And I didn't know anything about it or why, or I couldn't figure it out. And, eventually I attribute it to the kibble that she was eating, but I did not make that connection initially. What actually got me to change what I was feeding her was a documentary, and I tried for the life of me to find it. All I could find is a more recent documentary, called Pet Fooled. But it was not that documentary that spurred my interest, it was another one. So there is another pet documentary, and I think I had found it on Amazon Prime at the time. It was years and years ago. It's probably like 7 years ago. And, on in the documentary, they explained that dog food is not regulated. They basically get, like, the crappiest ingredients possible. They never, like, check to make sure that, like, everything's, like, okay in there. Some dogs have died. Now, I'd say that's, like, more of, like, an unusual occurrence, but apparently, like, so in, like, treats and stuff, like, some dogs have even died because, like, there's, like, basically, like, neglected, like, people not doing their job and, like, spoiled food and bad animal parts, like, going into the food and just, like, things that made me very, like, anxious and uncomfortable, right? So, I decided I'm going to make her food. So I found a few YouTube videos and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. So, basically, the YouTube videos explained, and I'll make like a separate video that's a little bit better quality than this live, but on how, like, literally, like what I put in. But we use an instant pot, which is a pressure cooker that allows us to cook the food really well. So, what do we put in there? Now, we don't always make it vegan. I'd say we basically cook her a vegan meal, and then sometimes we'll add in some salmon or some beef or some chicken, depending on what we have in the house or what we got from the store, like all like organic, grass fed, whatever. you know, super, super healthy version of the food. So, what do we add in? We add things like lentils, beans, quinoa. If we do rice, I do brown rice, but not often. Um, Lots of spinach, kale. We get a bunch of food from the frozen food section. I go through and I get like, yeah, frozen kale, frozen spinach, frozen avocado, frozen um, butternut squash, frozen broccoli, frozen cauliflower, all these like frozen string beans, frozen peas, all sorts of frozen vegetables, right? And sometimes I'll use fresh too, but I find the frozen just easier to have, honestly. So you could even put oats. I've put oats in. I think I said quinoa already. Just there with like the quinoa and, the lentils and the beans, we're getting some protein. Um, we're getting lots of different vitamins and minerals with all of those things. And then I add in on top of that, sometimes I'll layer it with like cut up carrots, sweet potatoes, and it varies. I try on purpose to not make it the same every time. And for the most part, my husband's in charge of the um, creating, and I'm in charge of feeding the child, right? But I do make her food every once in a while, like I used to. And I do try to switch it up because I don't want her to always have the same exact foods for gut diversity, right? So she's always eating a little something different. And I do try to make some of that, a portion of the food raw. So we have a bunch of cooked food, and then will have some raw food too. And the raw food is generally like fruits, yogurt, what else? Like zucchini, that I'll cut up, cucumbers, things like that. That we just kind of like add in. Sometimes it's frozen blueberries, frozen raspberries, like that too. And I'll do like a Greek yogurt, also good for protein and for a good gut, diversity there. And when I tell you, she eats every last, every last crumb. Um, it basically, we like, after it's cooked, we like puree it with a hand immersion blender, and we'll blend it. And it is amazing. Like, she absolutely lives for this stuff. We'll put it in, like, a big glass, like, tin Tupperware type thing and put it in the fridge, and it lasts about a week. Um, and she absolutely loves it. And, we've had some other dogs visit and stuff, and all of the dogs love it. Um, my sister she has a dog and that had cancer, and basically the dog would not eat any of the kibble, which, I said it was basically like poison anyway, because it was just like some cheap brand of dog food, I think. But I was like, if he has cancer, like he has to have like give him like fresh like food, like, that's going to be really key for him getting better. And she started with jars of like organic baby food, but I think now she's giving him like this fresher food, right? Fresh food. And now there's a few brands. I think there's like Farm Buddy or something where they basically do this for you so you don't have to make it at home. Um, Definitely did not have the capacity to do that, create another business for dog food. But I and just as, so we've done this for years. So, I have some studies behind this. Now, our dog is 7 years old. Everyone always thinks she's a puppy. She's got a ton of energy, a ton of energy. Every time she goes to the vet, for a checkup, they are incredibly amazed at what good shape she's in. She's like just like she's so clean. Um, she, doesn't have any skin things. You know how, like, dogs will sometimes get, like, that stuff by their eyes, and it, like, almost looks like a brown almost looks like they're crying, you know what I mean? She never ever gets that. She's never had that, and, she just has she's so youthful. Everyone that meets her is like, they can't believe that she's even 7. They all think that she's a little puppy, and, she maintains her weight really well. She's never overweight or underweight. She's always perfect, and we really attribute her amazing health and her agility and her, just general well-being to the diet that we've provided her. We get a few organic treats that, pretty much from the same brand. I like to be consistent and monitor it like that. Of course, we can make treats, but that's it goes bad pretty fast. And, you know, unless I give a bunch to her at once, we only have the one dog. Um, so that's generally what we do. And we give a little probiotic supplement and a flea treat, like preventative, like an all natural flea treat preventative. And she does great. She never has fleas, never gets any weird conditions. She's just super, super healthy. The only she does get like ear infections sometimes, which we find odd. But that's the only thing that she's like literally ever had her whole life. And she never really throws up. Occasionally, if we don't grind up because she literally inhales her food. So if we don't grind up the carrots very well, sometimes she'll throw up or spit up a little bit of the carrot, but, I mean, the throw up had totally stopped after we stopped doing the kibble, and we moved on to the fresh, like, homemade dog food. So it was really life-changing for her. And, we just haven't looked back. And of course, it takes a little bit more time to do and more effort than the bag of dog food, but and we find that it's well worth it. And is traveling harder? I'd say a little bit. We bring a cooler with us if we take her on like a car trip, or even if it's for the day trip, if we have to bring our food, we'll transport it in like a little cooler. But, otherwise, it's just part of our routine, it's just something that we do, and, they're all ingredients that you pretty much have in your house anyway. Even if we're, like, a little bit in a pinch and we're like, "Oh, we ran out of the mashed dog food," whatever we have, we just kind of cut up, throw in a little bit of yogurt, and she's happy as a clam to have that. And like I said, she's been so super healthy. So we you know, that's worth its weight in gold, is to have a healthy dog, because I know people that have had sick dogs, very sick dogs, and that could be very draining on the bank account. So I feel like sometimes, opt in for the organic, a little bit of the more expensive food now is will help you out on the back end when they're a little older. But, that's pretty much all I have to share for the dog food. So, hopefully this was helpful, and I will post another video about me actually going through the process and making the dog food, if that's of interest to anyone. But, like I said, that Instant Pot makes things super easy, and the immersion blender makes things super, super easy. If there's any questions, please feel free to ask. But yeah, that's our experience making dog food. And definitely check out that documentary as well. Pet Fooled is the name of it. And like I said, there was another documentary I had seen prior to that, probably 5 or 6 years ago. And I can't find it or find the name of it now, but that this one was a 2022 documentary, and it might be a little bit more even updated than the one I had seen. So, and it just really goes into like how the industry is essentially, like all other industries, very corrupt. And there's no oversight or regulations whatsoever. And sort of like ingredients to look out for. So anything with I think like cornmeal, anything that says byproduct is like a no. Um, and like they even just kind of highlight things like, okay, like look at the back of the bag. You'll see that a lot of it is not even like it's like derived from foods. Like they're not even the actual foods. And it's processed like American food is processed, like the stuff in the bags. Their food's processed too, and they thrive like we do on healthy, organic, fresh foods. So so I would highly recommend if you haven't or you're thinking of trying to make your dog's food to try it out because it's not as much work as you think, and it definitely has a lot of benefits long term, I'd say. All right. Well, if there's no questions, I'm gonna end the live stream and I'll try to post another video another time.